Hello and welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. The battle for Mountain West has been red hot in Overwatch, and we are down to our top 4 teams. Boise State, Oregon State, University of Las Vegas, and San Jose State. They are fighting for finals contention, and tonight we'll be citing our first finalist for the casting desk. My name is Eric Deserex Patron. Almost can't say my own name. Look at that, huh? Bryce Jensen, of course, joining me on color commentary. How you doing, Bryce?
I'm doing really well. It's been a while, but hey, I'm real glad to be back here right on the desk.
At least for me, it shows. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I see you've dressed up nicely, especially because it's semifinals.
This is the big league.
It's semifinals. We got to look good for it.
If there's any time to look good, it's right now, and especially with these teams who are right up to bat. Boise State will be taking on San Jose, and as you alluded to a little bit earlier, Oregon State as well as UNLV will be playing each other alongside of us, and we'll get to see a little bit of that maybe in between. But for the most part, we are going to be watching the Broncos take on the Spartans tonight in what should be a super heated match between seed number 1 and seed number 4, respectively.
And this puts a lot of pressure, I would say, onto San Jose State University. Of course, it's great to get into the top 4, but when you do look at the regular season for the Spartans, the teams that they've lost to are the teams that still remain in this tournament, and that is it. So you're dealing with a pretty brutal uphill road, especially considering that the Broncos going undefeated on the season is your opponent right now, and that could be a hard stop to your journey to playoffs.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that the Broncos have had very little resistance up till this point as well, only dropping a handful of maps throughout the entirety of the season as well. Boise State has 100% earned that 10-0 standing, and now San Jose State finds himself at the bottom of the mountain with one more hill to climb before making it to the finals. But there's hope. There's hope for him. There's always a little bit of hope, and we don't know what's going to happen until that third map is won.
I mean, for San Jose State, you know, they've had a good run as things have gone both for the Mountain West. And I know they've done some pretty good work with their San Jose State Blue team who's participating in the CECC. So they do have some potential left in them, but this is a tough opponent, man. The Broncos, we are known for dominating the Mountain West. This is a team that knows how to acquire rings, man. They know how to acquire victories, and it's been game after game after game, having a perfect regular season. It feels like final boss music is being played.
Yeah, but you know what? Before we hop into the game, we would like to mention that we have ourselves a social media page.
Oh, we do?
For more Overwatch content, follow us on both X and Instagram for more of our team and their daily shenanigans. There's some great stuff on there, trust me. I haven't gotten to work on any of it, but our social media manager, Jenny, very great. a lot of good stuff on there. There's a whole lot of content. Keep you entertained for hours.
Yeah, huge shout out to Daydream, who works a lot of the socials there. As I said, Jenny put up some funny stuff, man. It's always great to see. But let's go ahead, take a look at the roster for the Broncos. Jonathan Foraker, Cannon Miller, Carter Jones, Will Hess, Jenny Cummings, Mark Athana, and of course Doc Haskell leading the charge for this championship Overwatch squad.
Yeah, and you know what? In order for them to get to that 10-0 spot, they need one thing. And you know what that thing is?
Tell me.
That would be Doc's keys to the game. In Overwatch, tempo wins maps. Tempo, tempo, tempo. Tempo is so important. We had to put it there 4 times. Take fights in unexpected places. Know the new cooldowns. And all of this is, of course, brought to you by Blue Ribbon Painting. For all your painting needs, you want to go to people who have been in the game for 90 years, being locally owned and operated. Blue Ribbon Painting. Make sure to go to their website at blueribbonpainting.net for a free estimate.
Yeah, always shout out to our sponsors. And it's important to note as we head into this game, something we've kind of stressed going throughout this season, right? This is going to be one of the final rides that we see with this specific roster. Clear, Lyric, Daydream, and Maxwell will all be graduating at the end of this school semester. So, we will be saying goodbye to a good chunk of the talent that has been with us for so long and has performed so well for so long. So, hey, adding one more final trophy, that could be a great little cherry on top of what has been a very successful season.
Yeah, very successful indeed. We've seen these guys at the highest of highs, especially throughout the past few seasons. We've seen them go through some rough patches, but they always come out of it on the right-hand side. And I have a great feeling that they're going to be ending this off riding high, but they still got 2 more games to go through to get to that high point from the Mountain West. I have all of the faith in the world that they can get this one done. Just 2 more games to go. First hurdle is going to be San Jose State University, and I honestly think they've got a real shoe-in to win this one, especially with the meta in Overwatch currently, really favoring the Broncos. Wrecking Ball has been a staple of the Broncos for pretty much ever since pretty much for a very long time, since Strider joined the game, essentially. And because of that, we now have a player on the team who can benefit from a character that many people don't know how to play against.
Not just Wrecking Ball. I think a good one to point out is Clear and Vendetta. This has allowed this 1-2 punch. We've talked about it many times on this broadcast. They play so well as a unit because they're able to dive backlines together. You get this powerful DPS. Of course, it's a very skill-intensive champion where you really have to decide your timing on these deep dives in the backline. Otherwise, it leaves you very vulnerable to counterattacks, especially if you're isolated. And that's where Strider comes in clutch on the Wrecking Ball because he brings all that disorientation with a big hamster just crushing around, throwing your team all over the place.
Yeah, all eyes on me, and sometimes that's just what you need, a little bit of a sponge to soak up all the damage, and sometimes it's all you need for a little bit of dive, but then you can't really count out the back line in that situation as well, because you can only have a front line as strong as that while having somebody to back you up, and that's where players like Mark, like Jenny, I apologize, like Maxwell and Daydream, as well as players like Hex and Lyric, who are just really great at being able to support the rest of their team, being able to sit in the back line and not only keep themselves alive, but keep everybody else as well. Yeah. Something that is super underrated, especially in a team comp like this, is just the amount of utility that support characters can really bring to the field outside of damage potential.
Yeah, and of course, the fact that we've had it into, such a different patch, to say the least, over these about this last month of play, I would say, right? With the 5 new characters that come in, the reversion to Overwatch as just the name instead of Overwatch 2. And it's caused some curious picks to come through. Domina has been one we've seen every now and then, now taking the frontline tank role. But on top of that, I know Daydream always excited to play Jetpack Cat if there is a position to go for it. We've seen some funny plays to pop out from that.
Yeah, especially with Domina being so strong in the meta right now. It makes her an incredible secondary pick from the Wrecking Ball that Boise State has kind of been accustomed to over the past few months. And we've seen players like Strider being able to pick up Domina and play her incredibly well and to a very high degree, especially with how strong she has been ever since the midseason patch earlier this month. We saw a really large rise in her popularity. And players like characters like Jetpack Cat have just been a staple of the game, being able to get a lot of people into places that they wouldn't be able to normally. It opens up so much potential for playmaking, so much potential for team comps to be done. It makes it a very refreshing time to be an Overwatch fan.
I think that's the difficult part, though. Like Jetpack Cat, it does leave you pretty vulnerable if you're out there in the open for too long. you can be very much just kind of picked out of the air. So that's why we haven't seen Jetpack Cat as much. It's been every once in a great while. I think Domina, though, has been the bigger one, right? Because it's a very interesting mechanic, being able to place a paneled shield that can have panels broken through, so you can kind of like work strategies around that, whether you're using it to shoot through or just kind of scooting over to the next panel before it breaks.
Not to mention, and for a tank, and especially a tank that you'd almost expect to be a poke tank, more ranged, having a little bit more flexible of a shield, she does so much burst damage up front, and it actually able to two-shot with one of her combos. It is incredible damage potential, and you have to respect that space. And that's really the utility that Domina brings. That ability to not only shield off a massive area, in fact, her shield is the biggest pain to every DPS player I know, just because how big it is, how much damage it can soak, and then also just how much damage you can do if you do break through that shield as well. It's one of those things that you have to keep somewhat in the back of your mind if you're going to be playing characters that like the Sigma that we've been seeing a lot, like the Zarya that we've been seeing a lot, and it really creates this new flexible way of play that we haven't been accustomed to up until this point.
You know, and as we've talked about most of the main roster, there are a few subs who have come in every now and then who have really shined, right? Daydream kind of flexes around in that support role, but another one I always got to point out is Slick Rhodes. The Sojourn has been a very big pick for him, where when he does get put in, he shows up quite well, and it shows how expansive this roster really is, that you can swap out certain members and still be just as powerful, if not have different situations set up for different occasions.
And I feel like we can't really bring that up without also discussing Diamond Dog. You can't forget Mrs. Winston Main herself. I mean, we've seen a lot of
Hammer Queen. You know?
Yeah, that is true. We've seen a whole lot of play out of all of these guys, but we're gonna take a look at the UNLV Oregon State game. We got a few. We are already underway, and it does look like UNLV is going to take the first point.
Yeah, again, this is the other side of the semifinals bracket. UNLV, also known as the Runnin' Rebels, going against the Beavers.
And QWERTY Tumor. We got a fellow Wrecking Ball player. We've seen a lot out of him when Boise State has played UNLV in the past. We've seen him play incredibly well, but Natakoto is going to be taking out Zarovsky. Apparently we know who the better sniper is, and it's Sojourn as he takes out Omniflarp as well. Kernmaster takes down Femus. Unfortunately, his femurs were broken in that exchange as Hertz falls as well, the only one to live being QWERTY Tumor.
And a good start for Oregon State. Going against a team like UNLV, a lot of people expect the Broncos versus the Runnin' Rebels to be the finals of Mountain West. Oregon State would like to upset and try and get a narrative going of their own. Now coming in for the next push will be Omniflarp. Gotta be careful on that angle. Shogatsu now stepping up as well, looking for this choke point. Control of the point still belongs to the Beavers. Now, here comes the exchange now coming through.
Yeah, with ultimates heavily favoring Oregon State, UNLV is going to pop the infrared sight from Zakharov on the Widowmaker. Can make a difference, but the team needs to push up in order to make it happen, as Omniflarp is going to get caught off guard by Natakoto. Not going to find much. A Squishy Squid is going to fall in the end. The Kitsune Rush is going to be forced out. Natakoto trying to get something done, but QWERTY Tumor coming in with the Wrecking Ball. Angelo Gusa going to find Kernmaster, as the point is not going to be flipped for UNLV quite yet. Oregon State is going to hold on to it as long as they can, as long as Angelo Gusta can stay alive in the Nemesis form, able to keep himself up, all because of Shokatsu sitting in the corner. So much damage being soaked, but this sponge isn't even close to full. He can keep going. Shokatsu almost dead. He's gone. Omniflarp has finally got him, but now Natakoto is back with overdrive. But can they save the tank before it's too late? Oh, they couldn't save him. But I don't think QWERTY Tumor was going to be long for this war, unless...
Are you kidding me? QWERTY Tumor, man. He's absolutely on fire right now, holding this point. It finally gets captured over to the Runnin' Rebels. Going forward, QWERTY Tumor putting on a great performance as the minefield now available from the next offensive. There's a lot of choke points here, so this minefield does get some pretty decent effectiveness.
Yep, Squishy Squid on the Lucio. I like that with the Ramatra. It takes a very slow character into one that's a little bit more quick. Femus trying to get the Pulse Bomb on to QWERTY Tumor is going to miss. Definitely an interesting option for a Pulse Bomb you know, you're gonna throw a sticky mine on a very mobile target, but Zakharov is going to get absolutely melted by the Vortex. Angelo Gusa is going to try and hold a point, but when going into a Kitsune rush, that's easier said than done. However, a little bit of sound barrier is going to provide the shield he needs in order to get things through. It is just QWERTY Tumor on the point once again, but can he hold down the fort like he did the last time? No, he can't. Narakoto's going to get him this time.
Oregon State will take control back of the point. And you got to keep in mind, the first time these teams fought, this went to a game 5. So right now, Oregon starting to build themselves as they start momentum on their side. Only 8% left to capture the point and keep control. But here comes QWERTY Tumor once again, being an absolute menace. Will throw down that minefield right on top of the point, and there's nowhere to go but to the gray screen as now QWERTY Tumor swinging around, using those pillars as an anchor to keep reaping havoc.
Yeah, and Zakharov on the Emirs, a character we don't see a whole lot of, but Femus is going to take him out early. Angelo Gusta tries to use his ultimate, isn't quite going to find what he wants there. Wanted a little bit of armor to keep himself up, but it's not going to end very well, as QWERTY Tumor is going to find another. Hurts on the Jetpack Cat, a character you said we might not see, but I'm glad we're seeing him.
I'm glad to.
Kitty kitty meow meow, we'd like to see him. He's just a silly little guy. I mean, look at him. He's just hanging around.
He's just floating up there. And he has the cover of the roof of the point, but here we go. QWERTY Tumor jumping in right onto the back line. That's how disruptive you can be, but that's also the risk you take with the Wrecking Ball. Falls to Femus. Now the point looking to get taken back by Oregon State. Overtime has been called, pushing away UNLV. The Run-In Rebels looking to get back in, but Femus finds Omniflarp. Another kill off of the ultimate of Narakoto. And there it is. You just need to take down QWERTY, and this first round belongs to Oregon State.
Oh, QWERTY Tumor goes down, not able to keep himself up alive any longer, as Femus will find the kill, and Oregon State will find round 1. Oregon State putting up a show to start us off.
And again, I really do got to stress UNLV, while they might be the second place team when it comes to the standings of the regular season, it was a 5-game slugfest between these two squads. So Oregon State, they do have the potentials. The Beavers can bite back.
Hey, I mean, Beavers, what are they good at? They're good at building dams. And as the Rebels run, so did Rivers.
Oh.
Beavers stop Rivers.
This is true.
Beavers might stop Rebels, too.
I don't know.
Just putting it out there.
I don't think we got Rivers in Las Vegas.
No, you got the one because Hoover Dam.
Okay.
Yeah, you got the one.
See?
The Colorado, that's what it is.
It's going to be a pretty big dam that you got to make.
Yeah. Hey, Oregon State, you have the Beavers. I've seen Beavers do crazier things.
And they're going to have to keep up this momentum as, again, very tough opponent, University of Las Vegas. They want to make it to the finals, find that upset, change the narrative, and this is how you do it with Angelo right on the assault alongside Femus. 2 quick kills picked up by Oregon State.
I do find it interesting that UNLV is trying to match the Hazard. Hazard is a character we don't see a whole lot out of. Yeah. He's a little bit goofy. He's kind of like Winston in a way. He works really well in specific team compositions, but not really well in every single one. So it's interesting to see him picked on this map. In fact, we're actually moving over to the Doomfist from QWERTY Tumor. We've seen a little bit more Doomfist out of him in days past, but it's still not going to stop UNLV from continuing to move forward. Omniflarp trying to take a little bit of an off angle, but it's going to be caught out by Femus. Kernmaster almost taken out in the exchange. Both recalls are used, and there goes QWERTY Tumor. He is on go. Femus is going to find his one. Can he find another before QWERTY Tumor takes him out? In fact, he's actually not going to take any damage from that exchange. He's going to get out scot-free. And I say that, and Omniflarp is gone.
Omniflarp getting picked off. Femus still popping off. Femus has been a big component of this team so far. So has Narakoto. Finding another kill, same thing with Angelo. Kills back-to-back coming out of Oregon State, and no momentum has been found by the University of Las Vegas. Instead, the point captured, almost reaching the halfway point. They just want to close out this game 1 quite quickly, and this is a good display coming out of the Beavers.
I feel like the impact of, I was about to say the impact of Squishy Squid has definitely been felt, and then Zakharov would agree as he's the first one to go down. Looks like QWERTY is going on the aggressive right on to Narakoto, but the Kiriko is going to keep him alive. That double slide perk is coming in handy to keep him up. Hazard getting brought down low. Femus is going to find Omniflark, but quickly taken out by Cordy Toomer. Kernmaster also going down to the rain. We're definitely bringing that as well as the pain as Squishy Squid finds his way back and Hertz is going to fall as well. Point stays for Oregon State. One more fight for UNLV to keep them in this game.
15% remains for the Beavers. A quick pick out of Cordy Toomer. He does have a lot he can bring with this Doomfist, but he's got to bring it fast. The University of Las Vegas is going to come back, and look at that. The pick on the Kernmaster with the stick from Femus. Finds it big, down to support. This is going to make it so hard to continue the assault, to stay healthy as you fight for your life. But Angelo now coming in, and you can see members of the Running Rebels dropping one after the other. Omniflarp trying to work overtime. Cordy Toomer is back in the fray, finds two on the back line. Now jumping forward, Angelo will punch one away. Angelo still looking to hold this, but you got to deal with Cordy Toomer. You got to take out this Doomfist. Critically low as Cordy Toomer holds the ground, but does not hold the point.
Oh, what a close game for UNLV, but in the end, Oregon State getting that pick on Lucio is what allowed him to take out the team. What a first round for one of our games. And honestly, I think it might be a sign of what's to come. Oregon State has a real good shot. After that showing, 2-0 on Lijiang. Just putting it out there, we might be seeing Beaver Broncos.
I really like taking down the Doomfist as well. Cordy Toomer has been pretty spectacular on that all season. It's one of the picks that gave the Broncos a lot of resistance as time went on. But this is a good look, as you said, from Oregon State. I do want to point out again, this is a team that can find the upset if they need it, even though they are coming from the 3rd seed. That doesn't mean, hey, you're just 1 seed away from 2nd seed, and that's UNLV.
Yeah, and honestly, I would go to say that 2 through 4 are incredibly close in the pack. All of them have played each other incredibly close. I think that the farthest apart game that we saw was a 3-1, and that was which one? It was one of the games, but overall, they've pretty much all been 5-map games, except for the ones against Boise State. And that's where I think that the trouble is going to lie for whoever does win that game. And, I mean, we haven't seen Boise State play yet, but I'm fairly confident that we are going to find a win against San Jose State. I really hope I don't put my foot in my mouth with that sentence. That would really suck. And, hey, it might go viral. It might go viral on YouTube if it gets clipped. I mean, maybe. I hope not. I hope not. But it's like you were saying. It goes to show that even though these teams are super close, upsets are 100% possible.
Yeah, I think the team that is going to have the hardest time is going to be San Jose State. A lot of these teams, as you said, is close. I feel like the top 3 is the closest when it comes to the standings. Because if you look at what San Jose State has done, they did lose 3-0 to every single top 3 team. So that includes Boise State, that includes Oregon State, that includes the University of Las Vegas. So, yeah, I kind of echo the sentiment there, but I do think the close matchups will be in that top 3 category.
100%. But as we wait for our next game, Boise State versus San Jose State, I mean, I really want to touch on the current position of just Overwatch as a game. Or I would say Overwatch 2, but it's no longer Overwatch 2. Got to get that out of my head. It's just Overwatch, as it should have been for a long time. But that's a conversation. That's a conversation.
We are correcting the wrongs, Bryce.
We are righting the wrongs, and we are back to Overwatch. I mean, you got to hand it to just this team in general. They perfectly predicted what would be super good this season. I mean, we've been seeing Wrecking Ball all year, and with a lot of the regression of a lot of other tanks, we have seen Wrecking Ball pretty much go unscathed. And having a team that is incredibly good at one character who can't really be buffed or nerfed, otherwise he'll be either incredibly broken or incredibly underpowered. It really is a boon in your favor. And when you have characters like the Vendetta, like the Tracer, who are both very good picks right now, I mean, they've always kind of been good. Tracer has always been a good pick. Vendetta, I can't really say that same for Vendetta, just because on release she was a little iffy, but now she's actually a very solid pick, and I feel like she's going to be in that staple position like Tracer is. But overall, Boise State has come out pretty much robbing Blizzard, having an incredibly good team comp, all pretty much avoiding the normal hammer that comes with balance changes. Yeah,
and again, I think that comes from the diversity of playstyles that come from a lot of these players. Being able to play both the new characters means that, hey, to get you to the ballpark, you had to play some of these old characters in the first place before the badges got released, right? Clear, for example, I look at him. Very good Tracer player. We do see that come out every so often outside of Vendetta. And even with Strider, he has been, dabbling with the Domina. That's one thing we did mention. But also has the Zarya that he can pull out every now and then. So having diversity in hero selection is always going to be really good for your team and what you can pull out, especially when you need to have like critical flexes in the middle of a match.
Yeah, different play styles really do help, but also a lot of it bleeds into one another. We have a lot of characters that play very separately, and I mean, we've already seen this map before. We saw a little bit of Busan a little earlier, but this time we got a SJSU versus the Broncos on Busan. It's going to be a Zarya Kiriko ban. I get the Kiriko, especially after what we saw last game, Kiriko being the linchpin of the strategy. Zarya ban is a little bit more interesting, but with all the cramped hallways that come with this map, it is definitely justified. Let us begin Game 1 of the semifinals. Boise State versus San Jose State University. The Broncos and the Trojans, or the Spartans. Let's get this thing done.
I don't blame you. I get that mixed up every now and then.
Yes. Trojans, Spartans. It's the Spartans. The
San
better
Jose
of the two.
Spartans, it has a good roll off the tongue.
It does.
The Boise State Broncos. It's the alliteration that really brings
I gotta
it,
take
right?
off my jacket. This thing's heating up too much.
Oh, I feel it, man. And especially because it's semifinals. I mean, so much is on the line at this point. You're so close to getting to that grand finals where, you win that championship. Mountain West, again, a region that's been dominated by Boise State Broncos. For this fight, San Jose State University, they're going to need to show up big this time. Every single team in the top 3 has gotten the better of them significantly, so they need to show a completely different form if they want to show they are finals worthy.
And an interesting pick out of Boise State, going with the Hazard, and we're seeing a little bit of that Domino we were talking about a little bit earlier. I do like, oh wait, no, this is Boise State with the Domina. I thought it was San Jose, but I am wrong, but we're already seeing just the utter domination of Domina in the meta. The Hazard can't stand up to it, and Boise State is going to roll them over. Apollo is going to find his own in Maxwell, but San Jose State really has to shift gears.
Yeah, and this is an interesting little switch-up right now. Maxwell's going to be the one on the Vendetta. Clear instead on the Tracer. We did allude to that a little bit earlier, but Maxwell has been practicing it. We had a game where Clear wasn't in. We had subbed him out, and Maxwell had taken Vendetta duties, so this is interesting to see some of this flexibility now coming out of the squad as they hold San Jose State back.
Ooh, yeah, Strider really just showing off Domina's kit in a really interesting way. She's a really good character at stuffing out pushes, and we're really seeing that here. That push actually does a little bit of extra damage if you push people into walls, and that's why pushing into this character can feel so oppressive at times. San Jose State unable to break through this time around, and they can't even use the other side because he got Maxwell and Clear just holding it down.
Yeah, this is a dangerous duo to have going against you. Talking about those two characters, right, Vendetta and Tracer, they like to dive onto the backline, so you have 2 DPS. We're going to be terrorizing that backline, and you can see how difficult it is to just get right onto any supports that can deal with it, as Maxwell already going to pick up 1 kill against Elstro. Apollo does return it onto Lyric, but Maxwell's on fire right now with 3 back-to-back kills.
He is just going crazy in the back line, and Apollo has to back off. You got Hex in the back just terrorizing the Tracer. Not too often you see the support trying their best, or trying their best to kill the dive DPS, but it's always a good thing to see. It's why we don't see Ilari too often in the Overwatch meta, but she is really good at really dissuading that push, but out comes this Rageful Blade. It's not going to find anything. It is going to be dodged, and unfortunately Maxwell will pay for it with his life, but Strider still holding that high ground very strong. Hex is going to fall to Pyro, and while using the barrier might help. Ooh, almost gets 1. Pyro's going to fall to Clear, but it is not going to be enough to win the fight, and San Jose is going to take it, but Boise State has found themselves at 99%, and they need to rush that point quick.
Yeah, this is already overtime, so San Jose State, Spartans, they got to act fast right now, but they're already getting in the red This is pretty difficult for them to capture the point, but they're getting closer and closer to it as they push the Broncos away. Lyric still able to stay up, but not for long, as Nover will find Lyric. Hex returns fire. Nover still on fire, but so is Strider, who will take out that killing spree of Nover. Strider finds the Lucio as well. No supports on the table. No chance for San Jose to really fight back right here. The Broncos looking to recapture.
However, with only one tank against 2 DPS, you do have to back off and take the next fight. However, I will say Boise State having 2 ultimates to work with in this next one is going to work out in their favor. Out comes the Deadeye. Who's it gonna find? Nobody. Nobody's going to be found by the Deadeye, but you know what? It made some space, and that's what you need out of it. Out comes the Pulse Bomb. All it finds is a few buildings. However, that does force out Immortality Field, a huge boon of Baptiste being that ability to keep people alive. Nover trying to get to the backline, is able to get there, but Apollo is going to take tons of damage in the process. Nover is going to fall. Apollo trying to get back, and he isn't. He is going to meet the sword, and overtime ticks down. Boise State going to secure round 1, bringing them to match point.
That was a good play coming out from the Broncos, seeing a little bit of the diversity of this roster. Clear on the Tracer, Maxwell on the Vendetta, and seeing some interesting techs as well. I saw a little bit earlier, Maxwell was trying to use the Sundering Blade through the wall. And hey, that's one way you could use it. Maybe this is something that was planned a little bit earlier, that you still get that angle where you can catch people by surprise with the Sundering Blade. It's a very telegraphed move. So having something to kind of not make it as obvious as it's usually used is kind of a creative way to go about it.
I mean, it's a perk of an overhead ultimate. I mean, you can sort of stay behind a little bit of cover as well as use it at the same time. The thing is, you trade off that really big damage for incredibly small area, so you do have to use it a little bit sparingly. I think that the way it was used there was a great way to use it just to zone people out, just like the Deadeye was from San Jose State. However, in the end, neither of them got kills, and it was Boise State who took round 1. But on to pick a pepper. It's not Peter Piper, it's Strider picking a peck of pickle peppers. But Maxwell is going to be found by Pyro in the end. No pickle peppers.
I will not try and say that 5 times fast, but here comes Strider onto the back line. Wants to find this pick, will get just exactly that. Clear going to be on the Widowmaker this time. Long range sniping now going through. Looking to capture the point, will beat the Broncos. Clear still sniping away as well. And look at this narrow choke point that you have coming out from Clear. We'll try and snipe away at anyone who steps down these stairs.
Yeah, very interesting for Clear. I mean, flipping from Tracer to Widowmaker. That is a very drastic swap in characters. But Widow does work really well. You have really long sight lines to work with. You have a lot of open space. You can see dive coming from a mile away, and Alstro is going to get domed by Lyric. However, that's Apollo on the point. It's going to require Baptiste to take care of it, but Lyric has got it going. He is perfectly fine taking out a sneaky backline flanker.
Yeah, that was Apollo on the point previously, but no longer. Just only his body was there.
He's just Pyro. He's just Apollo now. He's no longer Apollo on the point.
Goodbye. All right, here comes Strider once again. These choke points, especially a lot of these angles you can take. One moment you're looking down a corridor, the next moment there's a hamster ball that's currently in your face, and you can see the struggle that is San Jose State trying to get through Strider's defensive line. Still holding this, is pushing forward is San Jose State. They're getting closer and closer to the point, but can they actually get on it and capture it, especially when you have Clear taking those high angle shots?
Oh, he might not have gotten the kill, but it was able to be finished off, and Nova is going to, Nova is trying to get back over, but unfortunately for Nova, he can't get over. He's going to die to the Wrecking Ball. And now San Jose State swapping over to the Genji, trying to take care of the Widowmaker there. They've had enough. Had enough of the sniper.
No more.
Red Rover, send Nova on over. But
15% remains for the Broncos to find this capture. It's a different angle that's being taken out of San Jose State. No success, as they haven't really gone on to the point. Just 0 on it, and here comes Maxwell. Maxwell's always got to be careful. Here comes Sound Barrier. Going to do a lot of work, buy some time for San Jose State, but not enough, as Apollo's the first one to fall. Dover still getting in there, though, and now the Spartans are starting to fight back. Clear is able to find a pick on to pick a pepper. Strider now hiding behind The turret hiding behind. The
Oh,
runs through, gets the environmental kill, makes it a third.
The downpour miss!
3 kills for Strider.
Can he make it 4? Apollo's the only one left, and this might just be it for the Spartans for round 1. That's one more gone. It's just the Lucio to contest. He needs to get there quick. Out comes the Doomfist from Nover trying to get through, but the punch goes nowhere. He punches air, and San Jose State falls. Boise State taking an early lead.
And this was brutality, to say the very least right here. Strider, very deserved play of the game from him. If you watched how he controlled choke points, the corridors are so narrow before you get into the open field where the point is, and Strider's always there. You can see that environmental kill, chases down everyone else who's in these tight spaces. It makes for an easy hit for this Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, I will say he was able to, I will give Nover some credit. The downpour I could see working because it does have a little bit of a hitbox behind him. Cordy Toomer moving into this UNLV Oregon State game. Looks like Oregon State was able to push it all the way with 3 minutes in the bank.
This is a good look coming out of Oregon State. You can see the self-destruct available for Cordy Toomer, who's kind of flexing it around right now, feeling good about themselves in this matchup now. The assault continues for Oregon State. We're not allowing any momentum really coming through from UNLV. They haven't been able to capture the point. They haven't been able to get things moving. They're trying. That's definitely going to be the situation here, but they got to make something work fast. Femus is already able to pick up on the part.
Yeah, OSU, more like EMP, the way they're just shutting down all of the momentum that these guys are trying to put forward. UNLV is getting some good pushes in, but they just can't clean it up. Kernmaster gets a kill on Femus with a little bit of help from Hertz. That's what you need to get things started. Femus has been a real pain in the backside, but the overclock is going to come through, and both support ults are used. They get Natakoto and Angel and Squishy Squid to follow, but what did it cost?
Man, it took everything they had left in the chamber to be able to finally get that push working. As you mentioned, both support ults, get the Massive Shield, get the Kitsune Rush going, and suddenly you have some momentum on your side. It's a good use of compounding those ults. That's not something you're going to have all the time, so you got to figure out ways to keep this payload moving.
Yeah, UNLV doing a good job pushing forward. You got Cordy Toomer sitting on the high ground. That's where you need to be to contest a lot of the supports. Angelo is going to try and dive in. He's going to take a lot of damage for it as well, but Zakharov is going to die due to no tank helping. Oh no, Cordy Toomer was addressed, had different problems in other places, and that's led to poor Zakharov getting killed. Out comes the downpour, isn't going to find anybody. Femus is actually going to be left out, has to use the recall to get out of there alive. Cordy Toomer on 50 health, able to get out of there, but no. Mech breaks, Baby Diva's out. Honestly, at that point, where you're so close to their spawn, it's better to leave Diva just as herself, because, hey, you gotta wait for that ult charge anyway, and even though it goes incredibly fast, you still have to wait that out.
Look how difficult this is right now for UNLV. They're already pushed back to the point they just captured. They're not making much room for the payload, so they got to act fast. And Femus is not allowing that. Will take out Hertz. The Kiriko not going to be on the map right now. Omniflarp is returning fire, though. There's tracers all over the place. Finds Femus. That's a critical pick. Femus has been big for Oregon State, for the Beavers to get work done. So this is going to allow some room, some well-needed breathing room for UNLV.
Oh. Hertz going to find one on Natakoto as well. That's both support. That's both DPS out of Oregon State completely off the table. As Femus starts to get back to the fight, they are going to be pushed up to the first bend. That's a good spot to get to if you are Oregon State. However, you got to get this thing moving incredibly quick, because at the end of the day, Oregon State have 3 minutes on their clock, which is a very large time bank, especially when the average is about 1.5 minutes. Angelo going to be taking a lot of damage, and a risky beat goes through. Squishy Squid, you are playing with fire, my friend.
Oh, but he thrives in the heat. Cordy Toomer still fighting this one out, though, but Femus is able to get the backline. Hertz falls again. Femus has been spectacular at taking these backline supports. Even Squishy Squid picking off the Tracer. That is huge for the Beavers.
He is, man, Squishy Squid. Should call him Slippery Squid, the way he just gets around. I mean, you saw that beat. At any point in time, he could have died, and that would have just been for nothing.
Stylistic, man.
FD God smiles upon him from beyond the Overwatch League. He's still with us. He's just retired. But Squishy Squid going to be cut out in the open.
More accurate.
He's going to get away. He's able to get away though. He's able to just. He's just doing Lucio things. It's really all I can say is Omniflarp is going to fall to Natakoto. Oregon State just holding them here. This second choke point, second bend on Kings Row is infamous as being an incredibly hard choke point to push through.
Yeah.
And I think Oregon State are just going to try and keep UNLV here for the next 30 seconds, and that's really all they got to do.
They don't really got to do much else when you have 30 seconds left on the clock, as you just mentioned. Squishy Squid kind of playing between both of those choke points, taking the high ground as well. It's very hard to get onto this Lucio. Squishy Squid has some great positioning, but now has to maneuver back over to the team as pressure is on. Kitsuna Rush is going to be used. Squishy Squid looking to back on out, but getting critically low. Finally gets picked off. Pretty Tumor will be the recipient of that kill, but it's Lucio for Lucio on both sides. Herds falling by Angelo is going to be disastrous for UNLV. They only have 5 seconds left to act, and they have no support on the battlefield, so they have to act fast. They have to act calculated. Every shot matters. Courtney Tumor's getting in the work, gets the self-destruct to work, but Venus will get Courtney Tumor on the opposite end of this. Squishy Squid pushing them away. Overtime ticking down, but finally just barely gets saved. It's clutch out of UNLV, but how much do they have left? Not enough as a 5-player killing streak comes out of Shogatsu, and Oregon State will hold.
That's why I always say, never count out the supports. I mean, we saw it with Squishy Squid, we saw it with Kiriko, just being able to get all that damage through while also healing your team. It is the number one thing people like to not bring up, but it is so important to the success of a team.
We want to give thanks to ICCU for their continued support of Boise State Esports. Thanks to ICCU, Boise State Esports has won multiple national championships and piled up more than 1,600 wins. ICCU, looking after your daily balance. Visit ICCU.com. And I'm seeing a little bit of deja vu. It's Kings Row once again.
Once again, but I think with a few different bans, because we got a Domina and Vendetta ban from both of these teams. Definitely can see the Domina ban. Vendetta ban on this map as well. I mean, you got a lot of spots that you can get to. You got a lot of sneaky angles to come from. But that also goes for characters like Tracer, like the Sombra, even like characters like Freya. Just so many angles to come from. Taking out one of them, or taking out one potential threat, is definitely something that you can do. But here we go. Game 2. Broncos lead 1-0. Can SJSU make the comeback?
You know, for Vendetta, I don't know. I feel like when you play Vendetta on Kings Row, it's like the Batman strategy. You're just like hopping from roof to roof before you come down and stop crying.
Yeah, it's the Batman strategy. Big, angry, testosterone-fueled man attacking at night.
5, 4, 3.
Did you make that up on the spot? Or
Oh no, I stole that. I
That was great.
100%. I am not nearly
I was about
creative
to be
enough to
so
do that.
impressed.
But yeah, I completely stole that. But here we go. Maxwell on the Genji. It's not stopping him. He's still going to be playing dive characters no matter what. It's just going to swap up which one he's going to play. Although the Genji here, you don't see it a whole lot, but I guess with Domina off the field, it makes it a little bit easier of a pick. You don't have that beam that can cut through your deflect as easy. Boise State kind of just poking and prodding at SJSU. Not really going whole hog, but out goes the mech. Boise State now has a great opportunity to get in there. Pyro going to do a good job holding down the back line, but with Diva, Tracer, and now Kiriko gone, it is a 2v5 for the rest of the team.
Yeah, Lyra getting some really good work done. And just like that, it was fast, man. This offense from the Broncos absolutely destroying the Spartans. It's going to be a quick capture for Boise State. And now the Spartans going to be on the back foot as they'll have to fill this stampede with the Broncos.
Yeah, 5.5 minutes to capture. I mean, I've talked about it before. This S-curve is the most notorious choke point in the entire game. So having that much time in the bank to really get yourself through it is 100% what you want to have. Strider going to get antied by the Biotic Grenade, but is able to get out very easily. Oh, the Railgun almost takes down Maxwell, but luckily, having the deflect, was able to deal tons of damage. Down to sub 100, and doesn't look like they're going to be pursued. Kohuni is going to be a sub for this game, it's been interesting to see a different Tracer player, but down goes the Diva Mech once again, and Hex is going to be the one to finish it off this time around.
Oh man, the way Strider plays, he finds a flank angle, puts down the minefield, that cuts the team in half. It makes it so hard for the Spartans to actually defend against this onslaught that's coming out of the Broncos when your front line's completely isolated, and they're hunted for more as Maxwell back-to-back kills.
Yeah, just pedal to the metal, not wanting to let up at all. Boise State is looking to put much more time on the clock. They've got about 30 meters left to push this thing, and with 3 people on the cart, that is not going to take long at all. Clear taking a very easy angle onto Ann, and Diva goes down once again first. Hex is going to be the one to clean it up this time around, and I feel like we've seen a whole lot of Yari gameplay that's just been, you know what? Divas by themselves, time for me to clean things up. Uh-oh.
Oh, Strider getting to work right now. Stick will find Clear, though, from Kahuni. So that's going to be a major DPS taken off the map for a short time. But you're still kind of bleeding in this game, so it's going to take a lot more from San Jose State to get their way in. But look at that. Just knock them off the map. Stack them up like bowling pins. It's so easy for Strider.
Oh, you're going to out-heal me? Out-heal fall damage. Not going to happen, but you still have Maxwell just sitting there. I mean, he hasn't gotten a lot of kills, but he's just distracted people so much. Like, look at Kahuni. It's like Maxwell is living rent-free in their head.
Yeah, and look at this. Strider walks up, gets damage in. Pyro, the only thing he's killing, definitely not players, just taking out whatever he can on the map, but it's the Broncos who are finding him. Pyro will drop down, and there's the Dragon's Blade going to be used out of Maxwell, looking to take heads, make them roll across this map for the final push, but falls to pick a Pepper. Strider still standing strong, though, as the push looking to come through. Trying to stop it. Now Strider gonna ride around the payload and continue knocking away members of the Spartans. This is a difficult defense for San Jose State, but they have found some critical picks to slow it down.
Yeah, once again, we see a double support ult coming through and it working in their favor. That nano-boosted rally is going to be enough in the end. The overdrive goes through. Kahuni is actually going to find one with the pulse bomb, but that leaves San Jose State with nothing to use in the ult bank. Boise State also kind of in that same range, but Lyric is close enough to his window, the amplification matrix, that he might be able to get something done out of it.
Waiting for that final push. Defense from the Spartans is holding, but only at the most critical of moments. Maxwell looking to defend against the Diva. We'll put up that reflect and continue to bounce right back out. Strider contesting the opposing tank. Swing around, not allowing that choke point to be held out of Ann. Now Strider onto the payload. Still dances between a lot of these health packs, so has a lot of ground to really work with and some good health to retreat to.
Yeah, having a 200 health pack on command, plus a little bit extra due to the pack grab. Oh my goodness! Kahuni's head is gone, and out comes that amplification matrix. Diva is able to get in with the nano boost, going to take Lyric down. If it isn't going to be enough, Boise State on a roll so far. Maxwell's going to fall to the boosters. Down goes the Diva, self-destruct used, and is going to find their match. Not able to get the redone, not able to remac as Pyro is in a life and death struggle with Hex. It is just the point, and 2 more fall. Pyro not even able to get close, and Boise State is going to finish it with just under 3 minutes on the clock.
Some credit to San Jose State. They found the defense at the most critical moment, but it was only for about 30 seconds before the Broncos were able to burst through it. And even in those critical moments, that nano boost, it felt like it was about to switch momentum in favor of San Jose. But the clutch comes out of Strider, the clutch comes out of Clear. Together they work as this 1-2 punch to dismantle the Spartans.
You also have to keep in mind the ult percentage going into that fight. You had one person with ult, and that was Hex. Yeah. You had the amplification, or that was Lyric who had the amplification matrix on the Baptiste. Only having that ultimate on the field might not seem like a lot, because it doesn't heal. Doesn't deal a ton of damage either unless you can actually shoot through it. But it allowed for ultimates to be built so fast from the rest of Boise State, it took them from 50% ult charge to 100%. You saw Strider using Minefield in that last fight. You saw the Overclock come through in that last fight. All because they were able to really just get things done with that amplification matrix, and it's why you never sleep on support ults.
Ever. Ever, ever, ever. I mean, we've been seeing kind of a theme where some teams will do the 1-2 punch, sound barrier plus casino rush, and that is what it takes to get you to push through and break a defense. So support ults, they're some of the most critical, I will say, when it comes to this game.
Yeah, sure, DPS are big and flashy, and tanks, they got big ults too. But support ults win you games. It's like you support ult and you win.
Defend objective
Or
A.
I shouldn't say that, because if it was that easy, I would also be a professional player. But
I'd be the best player in the world.
yeah, Kahuni going on the Reaper this time around. Strider
Okay.
able to just ball out, playing a little bit, just playing kind of everywhere. He can play wherever he wants.
I like the Reaper pick because if you're going to deal with a big tank that's constantly trying to get into your backline, Reaper's really good when he can get into the face of that tank and pump that damage in. The question is, can he actually get into Strider's face to stop that? But it's kind of chaos going all over the map.
Interesting play out of Hex, trying to take out Kahuni, getting closer to the Reaper. I will say, very interesting strategy. Didn't really seem to work out that time around.
I like how we can just see the outline of Strider flying all over the place.
Hey, he's I mean, we've seen a little bit of UNLV, but this is our UAV. Strider. But
It's a really big one, man.
hey, I mean, those things are pretty big. Astro going to be playing. Actually, Austro is on the. I just realized Austro is playing support this time around.
Okay, so
I don't know why it took me that long, but he's on the carry kill.
maybe trying to just find whatever works, because I mean, so far the Broncos, it's been little resistance out of San Jose, so changing up strategies to find their own entrance into this game. Gonna be a tough one though, because their backs are against the wall. Strider, a little bit alone for a little bit too long, will allow San Jose State to find back-to-back picks, one included on to Lyric. Maxwell returns fire, but it will cost him his life from Kahuni. Now San Jose will get their shot at pushing the payload.
Yeah, and I feel like that shows kind of the weakness of Wrecking Ball comps in general. They don't have a ton of sustain. Like, once a point is under a lot of pressure, you really need a quick and easy punch to the gut, and then that takes down the enemy team. They can't really stay in the center like we saw in the last round with Ramatra, but with Alstro getting taken down so early by Hex and Clear, maybe I was wrong.
We do got a swap, by the way. Maxwell swapping onto the May this time around.
Oh, pick a pepper.
Yeah, pick a pepper, getting vicious right there. Supportal combat not going to be found, but keep in mind the minefield is available. And around this area, this is the last time we saw Strider in this curve, this kind of corridor, this S corridor, as you had mentioned it to be. The minefield was so effective at splitting this team, so we'll see if we can do that again. But
no,
there it is, the Reaper finally paying dividends.
Yeah, and I feel like Reaper, even when not against the Wrecking Ball, has done a really good job at just getting into the backline. Reaper isn't super mobile, but once he gets there, he's really hard to get rid of, but not with Lyric throwing knives with a sniper's accuracy, and Clear just finishing off the tank. That is what you want to see. Some quick and easy kills. Maxwell on the May also paying off. That wall being in place makes it really hard to get around. No one's coming to help you if you are San Jose State on the other side of that wall.
A lot of healing coming in from Lyric, doing it from a long range. Nice open spot as well. Makes it a little bit difficult for the Reaper to find an angle in. But again, yeah, that Reaper was effective in taking out Strider. It's a lot of heavy damage when you're point blank with that Reaper. The only problem is the rest of the team has to follow up. You got to find picks immediately after that. It should be your time for Tempo to be on your side. But it didn't work out for San Jose. They're going to see if it works out this time. Now jumping right into the fight. And we'll find one onto Maxwell. So the May's going to go down. Rooney looking for whatever victims he can make. Clears on the back end, and now jumping right into the fray is going to be Strider. Sees a low health target, cleans that up. Minefield is separating the team once again. Kahuni looking to hold the front line alongside and gets bumped away by Strider, who slams right on down, starts dealing damage right over to the May. Self-destruct going to come out. Will it find anyone? The answer is going to be no, but still riding around looking for Kahuni. Kahuni's going to be able to teleport right out of that. Tank on tank, but look at the teammates of Strider. They have fallen, leaving them all alone by the payload.
Maxwell using the Blizzard as well at the very end there. That might come back to bite him, but San Jose State had to use a lot of ultimates in order to get through as well. Pyro actually really close to his own Deadeye, and Kahuni, having not used his ult, has a very good one in the back pocket. Death Blossom. It's a very memed on ultimate, as it's very easy to avoid and stop.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason people say the least obvious Reaper ultimate, like Kahuni's up there. But it is incredibly effective, and we're seeing it right here. Lyric almost going down, but Kahuni not able to find anything. Just like I was saying, super easy ultimate to shut down if you know it's coming.
Yeah. He found death.
He did.
He found there, but this is going to be the hard part for San Jose to really get through. Holding back. will be the Broncos. They have plenty of angles to really attack with here.
Same can be said for Pyro, though. He's got his ultimate to use. Lyric trying to play a little bit of DPS Kiriko. Gonna have to teleport away, but you know what? That's why you have a Kiriko teleport. It's so you can take those off angles, really get into a spot where you can deal a bit of damage, teleport away once it isn't safe anymore. Both teams really just kind of feeling each other out for this fight here. No one really going wholly in, but Strider just hanging around on the roof.
Oh, I don't think they even know he's over here.
I don't think so either, and he's not even going to need Minefield. He's just going in for it, going to teleport away. That is the Swift Step gone. That is Flashbang gone. He's just baiting out. I'm guaranteeing you, he's just baiting out utility. Minefield is imminent as Pick-a-Pepper gets melted.
A nice flank angle coming out. It's a team effort clear. Kill 1, kill 2, kill 3, kill them all. It's looking great for the Broncos as utilizing Strider's flanks, it gives them the opening to take down San Jose.
Yeah, Kahuni back on the Tracer. Actually, no, on the Genji this time around. Tried the Tracer for a life. Realized maybe not to play, but Genji worked well for Maxwell last time, and might work well for San Jose State right now. But with tons of ultimates to work with, Pick-a-Pepper
Oh, they don't even see him.
Both of them having ults, but neither of them going to be used. Actually, no, there goes the Kitsune Rush. Doesn't find anything. Deadeye is going to be used, trying to push up with the speed boost. Isn't going to find anything. In fact, he is going to be found. Sound barrier out as well. Now the Minefield comes through on the point. Out goes the self-destruct to try and clear it out. Isn't going to find anybody, but it did what it was supposed to do. Clear gets pushed into a bad spot. Pick-a-Pepper going to find him as Kahuni and Elstro also meet their match. It is just a tank and a support. Blizzard goes down. It doesn't even need to be next to the point as Ann is no match for the rest of the team. Boise State putting themselves at match point.
San Jose State, they struggled against these top 4 teams, this top 3 of the regular season, and those struggles have not ended. Every single angle was hard to get through. You try and take these corridors, and suddenly Strider's behind you. And what is he doing? I hear the Wii bowling sound effects going off as he knocks the whole team every which direction. It's a great display by the Broncos, and it shows you why they have been dominating this league.
So, if Strider gets another play of the game, would that make it a turkey? Because he would get 3 strikes?
You know what? I want to thank our sponsor. Today's stream is brought to you in part by local dairy farmers and the dairy protein they produce. Thanks to them, Boise State Esports has access to next-level fueling options that keep our players playing at their peak. Unbottled, dairy protein that powers your performance. Visit unbottled.com for more information. With that game, too, out of the Broncos, I think Strider was fantastic during that entire game. We saw the S-corridor split that he did with the Minefield. We saw the flank that he got behind every single member of the Spartans. And I do think one of the, at least, highlights for the Spartans was Kahuni on the Reaper, but they couldn't even really stick that one out by the end of it.
I feel like the Reaper really would have worked. Just it was kind of wrong place, wrong time in a lot of instances. I mean, you had really good dives onto players like Hex. I mean, Hex has kind of been a problem on the ERE. Lots of damage coming through. Very consistent at shutting down dive. However, you can't have a Reaper only going for one person unless that one person is the tank. And also, they were kind of neglecting their own tank as well. We saw Ann kind of hung out to dry in a lot of instances. A lot of times, you'd see tank just kind of by themselves, unable to be healed because you have 2 people in the backline. And that was really where they ended up struggling. And that's why having a strong backline and a strong front line are both equally important.
And this puts match point now for the Broncos. A little bit of deja vu now for San Jose State. The first time they faced off, 3-0 in favor of the Broncos. And this is looking to echo the regular season. The Broncos right now, they're firing on all cylinders. Every single teammate is doing their absolute best to take down San Jose State. You saw how difficult it was in Game 1 to actually capture the point in the very first place, often denied in those tight corridors. Same thing in Game 2 where, sure, they were able to capture the point, get the payload moving, but once it came down to that S corridor, nothing else could really be made.
Yeah, it's just such a hard thing to push through, and especially if you don't just pedal to the metal for just even a second. Yeah. Sustained fights can work, but you can't do that half-and-half sustained dive composition. I mean, sometimes it works. I'll give you credit. On control point maps, it works incredibly well. But for maps like Kings Row on Escort, you really need a substantive punch right to the enemy team. It doesn't matter if that hits the DPS, if it hits the tank, if it hits the supports. Taking even one of those pieces off the board makes it incredibly hard to finish out that combo.
If you're San Jose State, what are you doing right here? I will put my hat in first. I'm banning Wrecking Ball.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's my best shot right there. That has been one of the hardest to deal with. When it keeps splitting your team with the minefield, I got to put that ban out.
Yeah, I would say Wrecking Ball is a good ban. They banned the Domina last game, and I think that might have helped. But also Domina. Strider showed us a little bit of Domina opening things up in Busan, and we saw the effectiveness of it. We only saw it for one sub-map out of the whole series, which I would have liked to see her the whole time because, I mean, I like seeing Domina. Domina's one of my new favorite characters. But at the same time, her effectiveness cannot be denied. And now with her ban completely off the table, the next map, even if they ban the Wrecking Ball, there's still a Zarya in the back pocket. There's still a Domina in the back pocket, both of them playing incredibly similar. Two playstyles that the Broncos are really good at. And then the Broncos can really just say, oh, you like playing the Reaper? Nuh-uh-uh. Oh, you like playing Tracer? We can play other characters. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, you like your Lucio? We don't have to play Lucio.
So what's the answer then? What do you do if you're San Jose State and you at least want to take this to a series?
You beat them at their own game. You play Wrecking Ball.
Play Wrecking Ball.
Oh, I mean, but in a more serious note, I really do think you have to ignore the ball. One of the biggest things that San Jose State is really doing that I'm noticing is that everybody turns to look at Wrecking Ball, and that's exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
Like, you have everybody looking at the Wrecking Ball, the rest of the team burns down the tank. What are you going to do without a tank? Or it's even the opposite. Like, oh, we're all turning to look at the Wrecking Ball. Kiriko's by themselves with no Swift Step. Can't really do a whole lot. You really need to find a way to get into the Boise State backline, get into the Boise State midline, take out the DPS, take out the supports, do one of those things, and maybe that involves ignoring the Wrecking Ball.
Might be the case. Usually, okay, there it is.
Yep, there's the Wrecking
Ball ban, yeah.
They're not
I was
ignoring him.
expecting that one.
They're saying that one. That one's banned.
So the other ban is going to be Kiriko, by the
Again.
way. Again, interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wrecking Ball getting taken away makes the most sense to me. It's the playstyle that is truly an identity for the Broncos, and taking that away, well, at least force them onto a different style of play. I know you talked about some of the tanks that can still be played by Strider. That's still going to be a big deal to have to face, but it's better to be able to have your team at least on a forward-focused page so you can play something a little bit more front to back rather than front to mid to back to mid to front again to mid, because here's Strider all over the place.
You know what? That's a perfect segue into Flashpoint, because that is exactly how we're going to be moving around it. Boise State finds themselves at match point. The score sits at 2-0 for Boise State. San Jose State University, one more shot to get themselves back into this game, and it is going to be on New Junk City, a Flashpoint map no less. One that we actually haven't seen yet in the Mountain West, from the Broncos anyway. It's all been Servasa. It's all been other Flashpoint maps. But you know what? There's something special about New Junk City. It's the lack of polish that gives it the polish.
Hey, playoffs brings out the best, and that includes our maps.
Yes.
So this is it right now. San Jose State, the Spartans, need to fight back because their tournament lives are on the line against the Boise State Broncos.
And here we go. We actually got Slick Rhodes subbing in this time around. Daydream as well. Boise State making a few changes to their roster. And Slick Rhodes throwing out the Amir. Can't say I don't like the pick. It's a pretty good one. Pyro actually going on to the Malga this time around. We got another swap up in players. Kahuni and Apollo still staying on the DPS. Astro, Malaria, and Pick a Pepper both on supports. But this time we got a new tank in the ring. We got Pyro. He said, nope, let me tank for the game. But Boise State starting it off strong, picking up Pyro.
Ooh, Clear's already on Clear! 3 kill! And yeah, we gotta say it. That's your unbottled play of the game presented by local dairy farm families. Perform, refuel, recover, repeat. Visit unbottled.com to learn more. And what a start to this game 3 by Clear.
Allow me to rephrase, that was not 3, that was 4.
That was 4.
Some might say a fantastic 4 kills, as Clear is able to get out completely unscathed.
Yeah, that's some disgusting stuff out of Clear, but that's what happens when we see Clear on the Vendetta. He's so proficient at this champion and looks absolutely immaculate so far, especially the way this game started off. But Here we go, now the bounce back for San Jose State.
Yeah, big damage, and Pyro is already in the ring, right where Malga likes to be, but without any support,
man.
Pick a Pepper is going to go down. That's one less heal for an incredibly resource-intensive character. Alstro and Kahuni both falling. It's just 2 left. It's just Pyro by himself, and unfortunately for him, no amount of fire is going to heal him back up. Strider moving with the rest of his team. They're hunting down this Tracer. Apollo by themselves. How are they? They're able to get away, but not for long. Out comes the recall. I think Clear is called off the chase for now. He'll come back eventually.
We're like 7 kills deep, 8 kills deep for Clear. Oh, and Hex as well, putting on a display. The Broncos showing they don't need Wrecking Ball to be able to wreck San Jose State. As they continue to push forward, everyone is getting a piece. They all want the smoke.
Hey, there's more than one tool for Demolition Crew, and Wrecking Balls are not the only thing in their arsenal. Hex is actually getting a few shots on Alstro to really start this off, forcing him back. Not going to find the kill, but you don't really need to. Looking at ultimates, I think we are about to see an ult dump and a half. San Jose finding themselves with 3, with 2 very close on the way. Boise State finds 2. No support ults to use, notably, though. Alstro is going to have his beam, which might do a lot of damage, and out comes Slick Roads. The barrier comes through. Pyro is trapped in there with them, unfortunately. Kahuni's going to find Clear, taking out enemy number 1, but unfortunately, enemies 2 through 5 are going to get the rest of them.
Yeah, Strider steps up immediately after, pops that ultimate, and starts popping down the members of Spartans. And that was just one ultimate burnt out of the side of the Broncos. They've saved the Sundering Blade. They've saved the Override Protocol. Sundering Blade, maybe not as impactful, but Override Protocol, Slick Roads has showed he could really land some heavy shots with it.
Yeah, we're basically ult even now. We got Pick a Pepper, Kahuni, and Alstro all with ultimates. That's 2 support ultimates on the board, and we've seen what 2 support ultimates can do from both sets of games. Daydream looking to do something with the ultimate, but the Sundering Blade is actually going to find Kahuni in the process. It is just Pyro up there. Clear is going to go down to the rally as Slick Roads is trying to find something with the Override Protocol, but unfortunately for him, Pyro has too much health with 2 support ults to back him up, and San Jose State is going to flip the point, but notably, Slick Roads is going to be slipping his way out.
That was a good call from Pyro. Put pressure on to the Emre while the Override Protocol is active, so you don't allow that to hit your team. You got to give respect there, understanding their condition to keep their foot forward and be able to actually control that point. San Jose State finally on that. Now it's going to be the Broncos who have to play offense and San Jose State on defense.
Yeah, and Override Protocol, while it does a lot of damage, it can be hard to really get some value out of into high health targets. Pyro getting a little overzealous, thinking Pick a Pepper was behind him. But unfortunately for him, stonewalled by the Domina, not able to get through. That point is actually going really far in San Jose State's favor, but they need to get back quick if they want to hope to win, especially with Alstro and Kahuni both falling.
Signs of life out of San Jose State. That life getting smited right out by the Broncos. To get control of the point, this will get them in the lead for now. There's one last counterpunch you can do if you are San Jose State before you have to completely forfeit this point. At this point, I think you give it up, try and fight as much as you can to get your ultimates prepped and available for the next contention.
Oh, but that's 2 ultimates down. Hex is going to use his Daydream. Unfortunately, doesn't get much value out of hers. However, Alstro is going to fall, and Slick Roads and Daydream going to be the only ones to fall so far. Pick a Pepper going to be found out as well from Clear on the Vendetta as Apollo tries to hold down the point. It isn't enough. Boise State only needs 1 support ult to get this one done, and Hex is going to clear things up. I meant clean things up. I read clear. Well, I guess they did clear things up.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes when you're casting and a word comes up, you just naturally want to say you're like reading it as you cast. So, hey, it happens. It happens. And it still made sense. That's what's the important part. And you know what makes sense right now? This domination coming out of the Broncos. This has been absolutely vicious so far. Strider has his ultimate. Ultimate's now getting prepped on the opposite side. Pyro did burn his ult at the tail end of that last fight. I think that was an effort to switch heroes because he is on the Diva this time.
Yeah, out comes the Domina ult. It is not going to get a ton of value. However, Kahuni is going to go down before getting any more value than Daydream out of their ult. But Vendetta's off the map, having to use Sundering Blade to get back. He's able to get there and takes the Echo down with him! What do you mean? Oh my god! goodness, who wins the fly or the sword? It just happens to be the sword on this day. Slick Roads finding Pick a Pepper as well. And what was once a panic ultimate to save himself turns into a fight win.
That was so silly. What's going on? Clear on the Vendetta. Yeah, and you can never count him out. Even when it looks like he's about to fall off the map, it's you who's in danger. And the Broncos, I mean, man, that was absolutely insane, Bryce.
If that was me, that would be instant Echo swap. No, I'm not playing Echo anymore. No more. Apollo has a lot more willpower than I do. Boise State going in. In fact, Apollo immediately redeeming himself, going after Daydream. Clear, spinning to win on the Diva.
Okay.
Isn't going to quite do enough damage as Strider is going to fall to Kahuni. Hex is going to find Alstro in the process, but in the end, a 1-4 trade is not going to be quite enough.
All right, it gives the Spartans a little bit of breathing room and a chance to capture the point of their own. They need to hold ground for as long as possible. Hex did fall off the map, by the way, from Pick a Pepper. So, you know, get a little bit of vengeance right there. At least you're showing that gravity can do the work for you. And with 20% on the point, there's an offensive play that can be made out of the Broncos to try and take this back. So San Jose State got to stay on their toes.
Yeah, Pick a Pepper already under a ton of fire. Out comes the Diva Bomb. It's not going to find anybody, but they're also not going to be able to kill him before remeching comes through, which has been a constant over the past few games. Pyro is going to go down, but not before taking Strider out with him for good. Daydream, the only one left, trying to get away, but Hex is on the point!
Yeah, he's just there. He capped it. No problem. They forgot about what's going on in the backline, Bryce.
Hey, I mean, kills don't win you games, points do, and that's going to be a point flip for Boise State is going to give them quite a bit of percentage, and they're going to keep that thing ticking. They're not giving anything to San Jose State, as Clear is just hanging around. Out comes the Echo duplicating the Vendetta. Not going to find a ton as Pyro goes down before being able to remech. That is an important pick.
No, not like this, Spartans. Not like this. They're falling one after the other. You got to be kidding me, man. The Broncos, they sneak the point right back. They send in Clear, and the rest of the Broncos stampede in to close the series 3-0.
Man, who'd have thought a semifinals win comes off the back of a back-capping ERE? That is something that has never been said in the history of Overwatch, but I am glad to be the one saying it right now. Boise State takes the game 3-0, and in a dominant fashion, no less.
Oh, man, I think that was our unbottled from a little bit earlier where Clear just went to town super early on. That dude was absolutely immaculate on the Vendetta. Even if you take away the wrecking ball, there's still someone who will tear apart your backline.
You can take the ball out of the team, but you can't. Or you can take the team off of ball, but you can't take the ball out of the team.
Hey, look at all the confetti that's coming down. Yeah, that's live in the Boise State Esports Arena. This is what's actually, this is not a graphic.
Yeah, we're going to be finding confetti in the arena for years.
But these are your first finalists now securing their spot. A brilliant play coming through. And, I mean, to take down San Jose in a 3-0, showing that everything that happened in the regular season, this was destiny for them to be in the top two.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who their opponents are, as that is currently being played now. We were watching it a little bit earlier. It's the Beavers and the Rebels, both of them playing each other. But right now what matters, Boise State currently going to be going to the finals, scoring 3-0 against the Spartans. A great game indeed, but we still got to wait for their opponent. And I'm really excited to see who their opponent is going to be, because I'd be fine with either, but a part of me is rooting for the underdog. a part of, or should I say the under-beaver.
And I do want to take the conversation back for just a second. Clear, Lyric, Daydream, Maxwell. This is very likely one of the final times that they will play in this arena. They graduate, and that's the end of the road. That's the way collegiate esports be. Once you're done with your semester, once you've graduated, gotten your degree, kind of move on to different things, whether that be esports or your next step in life. But to play out a game as vicious as this, for this to be your closing moments in the Boise State Esports Arena, it's got to feel good, Bryce.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing this team build and build and build. We've seen them struggle. We've seen them overcome that struggle. We've seen a whole lot out of this team. And I will say it has been one heck of a journey. I mean, a lot of these guys were here when I started earlier last year. So it's a little sad to see them go, especially because I started casting with them. I know a few of them, and they're really great people. And really, couldn't ask for a better team to cast alongside.
Couldn't ask for a better team to to go through the highs and lows with this squad and watch them grow, develop, and of course stack up championships. We want to give thanks to the Idaho Air National Guard. What if you could pursue college or your dream career while serving your country and getting amazing benefits? The Idaho Air National Guard, just 1 week in a month, 8 months out of the year. You'll get tuition assistance, signing bonuses, healthcare, 0 down home loans, and high-tech job training, all while keeping your civilian life, job, and goals right here in Idaho. Whether you're studying, working, or building your future, the Guard enhances it all while giving you leadership skills and lifelong connections. Ready to have it all? The Idaho Air National Guard is your pathway to education, career success, and purpose. And as we kind of close out here and say, of course, our parting words to Clear, Lyric, Daydream, Maxwell, do you have any closing thoughts, Bryce?
Really, it was a great game. Showed off a lot of what Boise State has been working on. It really went to show a lot of the stuff that's been happening in Overwatch as well. We got to see a little bit of the meta that is going to be continually evolving as we move into a lot of the more finals matches that we are going to see later on. I can't wait to see those matches, and overall, can't wait to see where this team goes afterwards.
All right, so we're going to throw it over to short break. When we return, we'll get into our player of the game interview. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Force out Immortality Field, a huge boon of Baptiste being that ability to keep people alive. Nova trying to get to the back line, is able to get there, but Apollo is going to take tons of damage in the process. Nova's Ann is going to find their match, not able to get the redone, not able to remac as Pyro is in a life and death struggle with Hex. It is just the point, and 2 more fall. Pyro not even able to get close, and Boise State is going to finish it eventually.
We're like 7 kills deep, 8 kills deep for Clear. Oh, and Hex as well, putting on a display. The Broncos showing they don't need Wrecking Ball to be able to wreck San Jose State. As they continue to push forward, everyone is...
Ladies and gentlemen, attention please. About to start the show, better take your seats.
Now earn up to 4 times the rewards with the ICCU Premier Rewards Visa credit card. It's the credit card from the credit union you love.
My friends know me as Derek, but I'm also Master Sergeant Raxter. This is my life in the Air National Guard.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. Is finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great. Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
This is our new home.
Mission control, engine lock.
I'll call you after.
I'll be right next to you.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Boise State Esports Arena for our post-game interview. It's not just going to be one interview this time. It's going to be two. We got the duo of Lyric and Daydream here joining me on the desk. And, of course, first things first, I mean, you guys have now made it to Mountain West Finals. I know you've collected rings and stacked championships before, but how does it feel to make one more, starting with you, Lyric?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely a rewarding feeling. You know, the team has put a lot of effort into getting to this point in the season. And even though people could say, like, oh, we're used to it, it's another day in the office, like you do it all the time, like, you know, it's still a lot, and it means a lot, so.
Yeah, just what he said. I mean, it's really exciting that we get to go again. Some of us, you know, have been there quite a few times, so it's just going to be really fun and exciting. We get to go against a team we've never played against, actually, in the Mountain West Championship, so we're pretty excited about it.
Well, we still have to decide who your opponent's going to be, right? It's either going to be Oregon State or UNLV. So far, Oregon State, we've been seeing a little bit of the broadcast. They've been looking pretty red hot so far, so they might actually be your finalist for that one. But I do want to talk a little bit about the regular season and some of the growth you guys had, some of the journey that you guys had throughout both Mountain West and PEC. Can you talk to me about some of you know, the highlights and moments that you really enjoyed kind of growing to get to this point right now?
Yeah, for sure. It's a good question. There are a couple times in the season where we were developing like new comps that we haven't really played before. So obviously we have a ball player, and we do a lot of ball stuff. And like generally there are a couple like compositions you normally see with the ball, but we've been able to experiment with some different variants and play some other types of characters that you wouldn't normally see with the ball and actually get a lot of value with. So being able to build those comps out and actually see success with them is really rewarding. And then also with like Overwatch 3 basically coming out and the 5 new characters being released just a couple months ago, all the theory crafting behind that, and maybe even finding success with some of the new characters that we haven't quite displayed yet. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, you got to see some of the on-run tonight, which is not usually our staple, but a little fun thing to bring out every once in a while. And then Strider's been killing it on the Domina lately, so just having fun and.
Yeah. And you got the cat too?
Yeah, I got the cat. Didn't see that today, though.
How was it adjusting to that new patch? Because it's so many changes happening mid-season. And for some teams, sometimes that can kind of make or break you. You don't adjust fast enough and you kind of crumble while other teams adapt to the meta in time. But you guys, you've been on top of it. So tell me how it was getting this new patch, this Overwatch 3, as you had mentioned, and being able to play to your fullest on these new characters.
It's definitely an adjustment, and I think that what sets our team apart from most is the fact that our players do have the capability of picking those characters up fast and like reading the meta. And you know, we have some great resources. Clear, he's playing in WCS. He's got like the intel from that, and he can bring it straight to our team. Strider's great IGL. He's got that experience. So just so many great minds on the team able to come up with stuff on the fly and like feel things out and know like this works, this doesn't, and just move fast with it.
And what about our jetpack cat extraordinaire?
I just have fun. There's not really a strategy behind me playing jetpack cat. I try and do it every time I can when I'm in in a match. So I didn't get to today, but someday soon it'll be back.
So let's be a little bit future thinking about this, because it's not just Mountain West Finals you got coming up. It's PEC Finals in Las Vegas. It's going to be a big one right here. Going to be on the live stage with the crowd and everything in Vegas itself, the HyperX Arena. How are you feeling about that?
That's what we get paid to do.
That's crazy. I think it'll be really fun. It's another chance for us to just show off what we've been doing all year and kind of get to give us a last hurrah.
I mean, do you get any nerves being on, you know, offline instead of online, actually having to travel somewhere to play?
I think maybe just a little bit, even still, but you know, having done it so many times, like you get used to it. Like it is in fact a part of the job, whether I'm joking or not. It is, you know, it's what we're supposed to do. So when we're there, just like you can embrace the environment and just like focus in. Like, yeah, this is what we got to do.
I think we have a unique advantage of having this arena here. We have fans in, you know, we had our highlighted home games this whole season, so we have the unique experience of already having a crowd in front of us and a ton of noise trying to distract us from our gameplay, so we're kind of ready for all of that.
So now it's important to state that a lot of people are going to be graduating, including you two, Clear, and Maxwell. So I just want to look back, man. How does it feel knowing kind of at the end of the collegiate road right here, looking back on all the games you've played, the championship titles you won. Could you tell me what this experience has meant to you?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, I went from a Mercy one trick on the team to a Cat one trick on the team, so I think that's progress. That's about it. No, I actually really like this team. I think everybody on the team has helped me in so many different ways, and I've been able to climb not only in ranked, but also like as a person in general throughout my time here at Boise State. I've gained a lot of confidence in myself and a lot of confidence in my gameplay, and I can't wait to keep playing even after.
It's been a crazy 4 years. It's been fast. Like, it
Yeah.
just goes by
Time
fast.
flies when you're
No,
having fun.
seriously. Just to think, like, I don't know what the exact number is, but we've probably played, like, over 500 matches,
Definitely.
I think, like, in our time, or close to that. And, you know, I can't remember every specific one, but, like, I'm thinking back, and, like, there are still moments from, like, freshman, sophomore year where it's just like, oh, yeah, that was this one significant play. And it's just, like, the rewarding feeling you get with that, and, like, the camaraderie you have on the team, and just being able to grow alongside other people for an extended period of time is really rewarding.
This might be one of the last times we have you, but that means that another generation of Boise State Broncos will follow your guys' legacy and hopefully your championship ways. So I want to ask, do you have any words for the next generation of Broncos that will be stepping up?
Got to pass the torch, but bleed blue. I'm proud to be a Bronco.
You guys got this.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our interview. Before we close out, I want to ask, do you guys have any shout-outs?
Just Doc and the rest of the team, the staff, you know, everyone in the program making it happen. Joining athletics this year has been incredible, and just super grateful to have the opportunity.
Yeah, and shout out production. They kill it every single night that we are live, so.
All right, I want to thank you guys so much, not just for this interview, but for the time that you've had in the Boise State Esports Arena, the time you've had with this team, the championships you guys have won, and the memories you guys have created.
You're acting like I won't be here tomorrow morning.
I know, but that's the problem, though. It's the broadcast. It's not the fact that you're not going to be here anymore. It's the fact that, you know, our Twitch channel won't be graced by your faces as much. You know, we'll probably have a lot of replay packages, but nonetheless, we want to thank you guys so much. Claire and Maxwell included on top of that. And, of course, I want to wish you the best of luck on the future, whether you continue in esports, whether you continue into your next step in your journey through life. Whatever it is, just get one more championship, maybe two more before we call it quits. And I want to thank you so much for that. For the broadcast, I just want to thank you guys for joining us. And we'll see you next time, hopefully in Vegas for PEC and another championship for these two.